Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. The name is The One. Please subscribe to my channel. Today we are going to talk about Photoshop. I'll take you through Photoshop. This tutorial is basically for beginners. It's for beginners. So if you are interested in Photoshop, you want to learn Photoshop, you want to edit your own pictures, you want to use it for commercial purposes, this is the right time for you to learn. Please. Now Photoshop, as we all know, is an image editing software. It is used for photo editing, photo manipulation, and then retouching images. As simple as that. So easy for retouching and other things. So many things, so many things, so many things. You can do so many things with Photoshop. Now let's move to the software itself. I'll locate my Adobe Photoshop. This is it, icon on my display. But then let me move down here, click it once. Whilst we wait for it, let's talk about this. When your Photoshop opens, what is displayed on your screen or your display is what we term as interface. It is very important. Please, let's stick to the lessons we are having here. The interface. Now with this interface, you can see so many things. We have the file, we have the PS, edit image, layer, type, select, filter. Then you come down here, you see certain things here with no names attached to them. Then you come here, you see colors and other things here, adjustment styles and other things here. Now everything coming together is what we call interface. Okay, now with this interface, we have the tools, we have the document tab, we have the zoom and status bar, we have document window. When we say document window, this is what we call document window. This whole thing here is a document window, because this is where you are going to place your document and work on it. So this is the document window, this empty space here. Now let's try and put some document here, then we talk more about it. Don't worry, I will teach you how to open documents on Photoshop once we are done with this. Okay, let me take Yvonne Nelson's photo. Wow, she's beautiful. Now Yvonne Nelson's photo here. We'll move down to document tab. We talked about the document window. The document tab displays the name of the document. Now when we talk about document tab, this is the document tab. You see, you can see Yvonne Nelson.jpg at 50% RGB, whatever. That is the name of this image here. Remember, every image has a name, and this is the name of the image. So this display here is what we call the document tab. Let me try and open another document and show you why it is important to learn these things. The document tab. Let me get someone else's picture. Okay, I have Gaffer here. Let me use Gaffer. Now see, let's look at the exact place where the name is displayed. You can see that on this tab we have Gaffer1.jpg at 50%. What is the function or the importance of this here? It is displaying the name of this document. Remember, an image on Photoshop is a document. We term it as a document. It's not only papers that we call documents. Now image here is also called a document. Now Gaffer1 is the name of this document. So this is the tab of Gaffer1. When I want to move back to Yvonne Nelson's picture or her document, what I do is that I will move my arrow to Yvonne Nelson's tab, then click on it once to switch back to Yvonne Nelson's picture. Now if you noticed, you will see that when I click on the tab, the other tab darkens, whilst the tab clicked on the tab I click on displays a more brighter color than the other. Or let me say, the tab I click on looks more alive than the other one. So it shows you, or it tells you that you are working on the particular tab with a brighter color. Okay, so right now, as you can see, I have this one brighter than the other, meaning that I am working on this now. And once I click on it, the corresponding image will follow. Look at it. Okay, because the document displayed here is Yvonne Nelson, so I have to get Yvonne Nelson's document or her picture. Good. And then let's move to something else, the zoom and the status bar. The zoom and the status bar, we have zoom in Photoshop. Yes, you can zoom in and you can zoom out too. See, I'm zooming out and I'm zooming in. Very useful tool, but maybe you might not know the importance of this zoom and zoom in and zoom out. Let me tell you one thing here. In Photoshop, the most important thing you need to know to become a good artist or a Photoshop user is that you don't leave traces of your editing. Okay, and before you can be sure that you've done a perfect work, it means you have to first of all zoom in, check everything you did on the picture, find out if everything is natural or it looks natural. Okay, that is why you have to zoom in and then you zoom out to ensure that you left no traces for your critics. Good. Now the zoom in, this displays the zoom and the status bar and also the color profile. You can click on it, then so many things. Let's say this displays the zoom in. Let's move. Let me show you something. Now follow the arrow to the left, down the left corner. You can see 50%. Now this 50% displays the percentage of zoom I've done on this work. I want you to watch closely as I zoom in. Did it change? Did it change? Yes, it changed from 50% to 66.67%. Okay, let's try and zoom in more. Now I've zoomed in 100%, 200, 300, 400, and so on and so forth. You can zoom in and zoom in until you can't zoom in more. Let's try and zoom out too. So when this falls at exactly 0%, it then falls exactly 0%, but exactly 0%, it shows you or it tells you that that is the actual size of the image. So you can't work on an image like this. This 0.7% is not the actual size, but you can't work on an image like this. Even let's zoom in 1%. Can you work on something like this? No. How can you even see the features to edit? So the zoom in is very, very, very important. You can zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out until you can barely see a mark on your display. Now let's zoom in again. Good. On your right hand or your right side, you can see a display here on tagged RGB 8B PC, then the rest. That's the status bar, the status of your image. On the status bar, it displays what you want to know. Now when you click twice and hold on, you can see the width of the image, the height of the image, the channels, and the resolution. When we talk about the resolution, the quality of the picture or the image or document you are working on. And you can see an arrow here. When you hit the arrow, what comes? You can see Adobe Drive, document size, document profile, document dimensions, measurement scale, scratch sizes, efficiency, timing, current to 32-bit exposure, save progress, a whole lot. This simply means that with these things, any of them that you choose is what will be displayed down here. So if I should choose document size, meaning I want to know the size of the document, and the size of the document is 5.93 megabyte. That's the size of the document I'm working on. I can choose other things here, but let's stick to the document profile because it is more important to us than the rest. Or you can decide to choose the document size if you don't want to get a very big or huge size. Yes, you can choose that one to tell you when you're going over the limit, and it's good. Let's leave it this way. Okay, let's leave it. So as I was saying, we have so many tools we have panels, we have a lot of them. Now let's move to the toolbar. The toolbar is, my god, it's so simple. Okay, let no one confuse you. The toolbar, it is very interesting. We have so many tools there, interesting tools to use, interesting tools. Now the toolbar falls on your left hand. Now this is the toolbar. These things there, the drawings, the small drawings, small icons here are the tools, but this is what we call the toolbar. From here down there is what we call the toolbar because it contains the tool. And you can expand this if you think it's too long for you. You can expand it by clicking on this small arrow here. Now I have expanded it. Let's go back to normal. Let's expand again. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's go back to normal and talk about it. This toolbar, there's one thing you need to know. If you want to know the name of a tool, just place your icon, your arrow on the tool, leave it for some few milliseconds, and the name would be displayed there. Now when I place it on this tool here, what we have, the move tool. The move tool. What actually is the move tool? Move tool means when I select something here, I can move that image to another document. Now let's try and see if this one will go. Okay, it came down to Gaffer's image, but I don't think it moved. Why? Is it because it is too big, or because it is Yvonne Nelson and this is Gaffer? They don't mingle or they don't meet? No, but you need to select something. Okay, there is nothing selected here, that's why it didn't move. But basically, if you are to select something, then you can move. Let's move to the next tool, which is the select tool. Then we will select something and move it to Gaffer's image. Now the next tool, let's find out the name. Rectangular marquee tool. Rectangular marquee tool. This tool is basically one of the most used tools in Photoshop. One of the most used tools in Photoshop, and it is very interesting. You saw rectangular, it is a marquee tool. You saw rectangular there, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has only rectangular selections. You can change the tool. How do we change from rectangular to other tools? Now let's see, but before that, let's try this rectangular marquee tool and see how it works. Okay, so I'll double click, or I'll click and drag. Oh, sorry, the layer is locked. Oh, okay, let's create. So let's see if we can select something here. Oh, okay, so you can see the rectangular shape created by these ants, the working ants there. Let me leave it. You can see some ants, yes, we call them ants, working along the selection or the selected area. Yes, and they are in rectangular shape. That is why we call this selection tool the rectangular marquee tool. Now let's see the function of the move tool, because now we've selected something. Let's see. Okay, can I move it? Oh, look at it, I'm moving it too. Nice, beautiful, beautiful. So I can decide to leave it here, I can decide to bring it here, I can decide to bring it there. Yes, that's how the move tool works. Or I can decide to move it to Gaffer's image. Okay, see, very interesting, very interesting, very interesting. And if I had done the selection well, I could have moved the head of Yvonne Nelson to Gaffer's body. Then you see Gaffer's body but Yvonne Nelson's head. That is how these bad photographers try to manipulate people's pictures and try to blackmail them with it and the rest. But let's not go into that. So I'll just move back to where we were. Okay, so we learned something on the move tool. And as I was saying, I said even though we have the rectangular marquee tool, you can decide to choose other marquee tools. Then how do we access the other marquee tools? There are two ways. Look at this. You can see a small arrow displayed down here, right beneath the right corner of the marquee tool, the rectangular marquee tool. A small arrow. You can decide to click on it to display your other tools, or you just place your arrow on the marquee tool, you right click, and there you go. So simple. Don't worry yourself to try and get the arrow before you select your tool. Just place it on it, right click, then you have your tool displayed. Your tools displayed. Now we have the rectangular marquee tool, we have the elliptical marquee tool. Elliptical marquee tool. How does that look like? Okay. Oh, nice. So I can have an egg-shaped selection. Oh, beautiful. Let's do it well. I want to cut only the face. Yes, I want only this part. Oh, beautiful. So nice. So I can decide to move this one to the other document. Let's try other tools and see. We have the single row marquee tool. The single row. Oh, okay. Is that so? Is that how it works? Yes, that's how it works. Okay, so simple, so simple, so simple. Now let's try other tools too and see. Okay, single column marquee tool. The single column marquee tool. Oh, okay, that means you can make selections with these tools. Okay, I'll come here. I don't want to go there right now to confuse you. So we are going one by one. Then let's move to the other tools here. I said when you place the arrow there, you'll find the name of the tool there. What is this tool? The lasso tool. The lasso tool. What is the use of this lasso tool? Okay, let me click on it once and see if something will happen. Let's start from here. Oh, nothing happened when I clicked once. But do you know why? This is also a selection tool, and with this selection tool you click and drag, then when you leave it, it will form its own shape. Okay, good. This is also one of the most used tools in Photoshop. Now you can decide to play with it this way and see the type of selection you get. Okay, so you click and drag, you click and drag, you click and drag. I can decide to click and drag around this place. When I leave it, look at the shape formed. So it is basically you selecting something, but you don't actually select it in full, or you don't actually select around the particular object, but you make the shape you desire to make, and the tool itself will help you to finish the shape. So let's say I want to cut the mouth. It knows that I'm trying to cut the mouth, although it will not give you the exact selection that you need, but then something like that, like a sharp cut. Yes, let's cut the hand. Nice. Try it. Let's see if there are other tools in the lasso tools. Okay, so we can see polygonal lasso tool. You know what a polygon is. We have the magnetic lasso tool, but let's move to the polygonal before we come to the magnetic. So when we talk about polygons, does it mean that this tool will draw a polygon for us? Any of the polygons? Let's see. Okay, now there is one thing you need to know about this tool, the polygonal. The first tool we used, what we did was that the first lasso tool, you have to click and drag. When you leave your button, it means the shape will be formed at once. But with the polygonal lasso tool, you can decide to leave it, go for lunch, come back, and still work, and it will be there. It will not form anything or any shape for you unless you double click. Now this is a straight line, so it gave me no selection. You can read one, no pixels were selected, okay, because it's a straight line. So if I want to select something, let's say I'm selecting this side, okay, let me select. Okay, I'm done here. Okay, now this is still a free tool, a free selection. It is still moving around. I can decide to leave the click, or I can decide to leave the button without clicking it, and I can go rest, and when I come back I'll continue with my selection. Okay, but once you double click on your left, once you double click the left button, it makes the selection for you. Okay, nice. Or I can decide to find where I started from, and when you place it exactly where you started from, you can see a change there. There is a circle right beneath the icon of the tool or the arrow, okay, showing that you are back to where you started. And when I click it once, it will form the selection for me. I hope you're enjoying this, and I pray that it becomes easier for you. Let's move to the next one. We have the magnetic lasso tool. Magnetic lasso tool, it works more like magnet, more like a magnet. Kind of can system. It works more like a magnet. When I place it where I want to start my selection and then left click once, what it does is that for this one you can't be moving the tool around and around, because it will be selecting around the sharpest image or the nearest image for you. So you thinking that, hey, I want to move it around, oh, I should have selected this side, so let me move it there. Before you know, it has made the selection at places where you do not want to select. Okay, because it will attach itself to the sharpest pixels, or the sharpest image displayed, or the sharpest tip of the image right there. And when it does that and you double click, it forms your selection for you. Now notice the difference between these two and the rest. When I click and I move it down, whilst it is attaching itself, it leaves dots there. It leaves dots there for me. You see how fast I am selecting? I'm not the one doing the clicking on, because it is a magnet. It is attaching itself to the tips or the lines, the sharpest lines there. So when I am done, I can either decide to double click here or move here where the circle will appear under the arrow, and then I'll click once to form my shape. And I can decide to edit this with a color, try to cover its face or something like that. Okay, and then let's see the name of this next tool, the Magic Wand tool. Interesting. If you need to do a quick selection, you can move here, place it where you want to select. Let's say I want to select a particular color. Let me select red, this color here. Okay, once I place it in the middle and hit it or press the button once, what it does is that it works like magic. It will do the selection for me. It will choose your area for you. It will select where you want to select for you. Although sometimes it wouldn't give you a perfect selection, but it helps in selections. Yes, it gives you. Now you see it has selected this hair to be part of the red, but we all know that that is not red. Okay, but it gives you the quickest way to select. And when you have it this way, all you need to do is that when you are done with this magic selection, you need to just do some small cleanups. Yes, see how I select the red, or let's say I want to select the face. See, yes, that's how it works. That's how it works. That's how it works. Let's see on Gaffer's image if you can find a particular color. Okay, let's use the background here. I want to select around Gaffer, so I want to select the background and change the background. Once I place this tool there and then click once, it selects around Gaffer. The places which were not selected, I bring there and click again. It will select those places. I select again. Now I have Gaffer's image being selected around. I can decide to change the background. See, beautiful. Okay, and very simple. I will show you the rest. We are just learning about the tools, so we will go to the changing of backgrounds and the rest. Yes, we will do that later, maybe in our third or second yes, in our second video. Let's move back here, and we have another tool, the quick selection tool. The quick selection tool, I can decide to place it here, click it once. See, it's selected just this space because I wanted to select the black shade here. Okay, let's try something else. Quick selection. See, it does not select as perfect as the other tools because it will give you a wide range of selection, but then you have to edit it, so it works more like the magic tool. Okay, let's move to the other tool. We have the crop tool. When you want to crop the image, maybe it is too large for you, or you want to crop some part away, you can decide to crop half of Yvonne Nelson, then bring it this way, half of Yvonne Nelson, and just click that way. Now you see half of Yvonne Nelson is gone. Let's move back and see, does it have other tools? Let's check and see. The crop tool, or we have the perspective crop tool, we have the slice tool, we have the slice select tool. Okay, let's see how it works too. We have so many tools to work with, okay, so many tools depending on what you want to use or the actual work that you want to do. We have the slice select tool, where you have an option to slice part of your work and use. Oh, sorry. I'll talk more about this tool when we get to image selection. Double clicking on it, on the image, whilst you have the slice select tool, will bring you the dimensions where you want to slice and everything. Now if I should enter the sizes I want and everything here and then click OK, the selections or the slicing will be done. Now the slice tool is also here. Okay, so this is the part I want to slice, or let's divide the slide. There are a whole lot, but mostly we don't use this, and when we get into it I will explain it further. Good. Now let's move to the next two up front. We have the eyedropper tool. Now this has to do with photography. Okay, photography, when you have to edit a picture or a document, like someone's photograph and the rest. It has so many other tools, the 3D eyedropper, color sampler. We are just learning more about the basic tools, and these are not basic tools. These are used for special assignments. And let's try and go faster. Let's talk about this tool too. Now let's see the name of the tool here. What is the name of the tool? The spot healing brush tool. This is also used for photography. We have different tools here. We have the patch tool, where you can do your small patching here. And then now you know what patch means, the content away move to the red eye tool. So this is basically photography. Now let's move to this, the brush tool. You'll be using this a lot, the brush tool. See, what do we use brush for? We use brush to paint. So the color selected from this side will determine the color your brush will give you. Okay, that is the brush tool. Let's see if there are other tools. I want to move faster. You have the pencil tool to draw. Basically, pencils are used to draw. Okay, pencils are used to draw. So when we move to the channels and path, then we will learn more about pencil tools and the rest. And we have other tools there too. We have the color replacement tools. Yes, the color replacement tools also forms part of it. Now, why is it that it is not? See, why is the face not showing the color? There is a reason. We did something back there, and there is a reason for it all. So let's move on. When you get more into Photoshop, you understand a lot of things. Don't try to learn everything right now, else you get yourself confused and the rest. Now see, you can see the yellow color there. Good. This should tell you that something happened to the face whilst we're using the tools. So Photoshop, you don't play with tools that you do not know anything about. Okay, now that's the mixer brush tool. Then the next tool we have is one of the most interesting tools we've got. That's the clone tool. It comes with a pattern stamp tool. But the clone tool, let's see, I want to clone this part of the face. Let's say I want to clone the eye. Basically, we know that cloning simply means that creating something of exact resemblance. Creating something of exact resemblance. Okay, exact resemblance. So the reason why it is not working there is that, okay, I'll explain that to you later. Let's try it here and see. We can choose to increase the size of the cloning tool here. Now what is happening here? You see, it is cloning something that already exists in the image. Now with the cloning tool, you need to, when you want to clone a particular place, let's say we want to clone the let's choose a place, the finger, this thumb here. What we do is that we will place the tool on the thumb, from the tip of the thumb, and press Alt. When you press Alt, see, it has changed. Then you move it along by clicking, double clicking, and moving it along the place you want to clone. When done, you can bring it anywhere you want to bring it, clone it, bring it there. Now see, I have almost the whole hand there. That is how the cloning tool works. If I want to clone more, let's say I want to clone the lips, I can decide to also do the same thing and bring it somewhere else to clone. Okay, now let's move on. The pattern stamp tool. Okay, we have patterns here. This is it. Can decide to bring the patterns down here. Once I double click and move it along the document, what it does is that it places the pattern or the selected pattern where I move the tool. See, okay, now let's go back to default. We have this we have the history brush, where let's say I did the work here, cleaned it, and I have to go back to or revisit the work again. Yes, that's the importance of the history brush or the art history brush. When I say I did the work, I have to go back. It's more like a function that I choose. Let's say I chose something like this oil painting. I did some painting with a Photoshop few days ago, so when I want to get the exact effect, once Photoshop keeps the history of the works I've done, it will bring back the immediate history. Okay, the immediate history. Very good. That's why we have this here. Let's see this, the magic eraser tool. The magic eraser tool. And let's see if we have other things there. We have the background eraser, the magic eraser, and we have the eraser to erase, because this is an original image. I can't erase it. But let's say if I had done anything, or if I had attached anything to it, that means that I can erase it with the eraser tool, because it does not form part of the picture. Okay, it is not part of the picture yet. Until I save it, it does not form part of the picture. Okay, now see, so I can erase it or bring the magic eraser to do the work for me. Now what I have to do is that I just place it there. Let's say I want to erase this whole part, I place it there, click it to erase most of the part for me, instead of moving it like the other eraser tool. So let's try something here. The magic eraser tool. See, it has done a lot of work for me. I don't have to find, like I have to there, but then to make it easier, you need to choose the magic eraser tool, because before you do this, someone using the magic eraser tool would have finished with the work and moved on. Okay, now let's move on to other things. We have the background eraser tool. Now this is okay, I'll talk to you more about the background. This is the background. You see, from this side you can see that most of the picture is gone. This is the background. So once I bring the background eraser tool and I erase, it will erase the picture and then show only the background to me. But because it is almost the same picture, that is why you barely see the image erased. Please, we are moving, so if you have anything you can ask. Then let's move to the side. We have the gradient tool, where you can bring the gradient overlay. I can decide to overlay a gradient here. I can decide to bring this. The reason why it is not moving, because you can't move a background. The background is the background. But if I had created a duplicate of this image, and now I fill it with the gradient, I can decide to move my layer. Now see, remember we selected and cleaned part of the face. That is why it is filled with only this. Okay, let's move on. The gradient tool, we have the paint bucket tool, 3D material drop tools. Then we have, let's move on to the next tool. Then from the gradient we have the blur tool, where you can choose to blur parts. of your image. You can choose to blur part of your image. You can choose to increase the intensity of the blur, or you can leave it like that. So Ctrl J. You can choose to blur any part that I want, or the sharpen tool where you can choose to sharpen a part, or we have the smudge tool where you can choose to also smudge. When we say smudge, you know, when you were in the kindergarten, you used to scribble. So the smudge is more like a way to scribble an image. It is now loading. It is now loading. And Photoshop is interesting with these tools around. Okay, it is very interesting. Now see, this is the smudge. Nice. The blur, we have the blur tools here. Now it is blurring it. You click, it will blur it for you. Okay, you can decide to choose a different strength or the hardness for it here. It is blurring. Okay, so let's go to the other tool and see for ourselves the importance of those tools. We have the dodge tool, a whole lot. We have the dodge tool here where you can decide to, yes, now you see it's more like it's cleaning some dirt from my work, but this is used mostly for photo editing or photography. If you are not careful, you will end up with an image which looks more like pale. Okay, so that is the tool, the dodge tool, the burn tool, yes, where you have to bring back what you cleaned. Okay, this one also darkens it. It darkens it. Let's see the other tools. The sponge tool. Oh wow, I love this tool. It gives you some more interesting effect on pictures. Okay, very interesting, very interesting. Okay, now see for yourself how it works. Okay, and then let's move to the pen tool. This would also be very vibrant when we are using paths, or we are working more on shapes and other things. The pen tools, which is also a form of selection tool. Okay, every point on the line can be adjusted. Every point. Okay, nice. So this pen tool, see the shape I've done, is also used for selections. Okay, you draw around the image, you get the curves you want, you change it to paths, and you do your own thing with it. Then one of the most important tools in Photoshop, that is the type tool. When you have to type something, you come to the type tool. Now let's type something. What should you type? The size is too small. When you click on Control, see the shape that forms on your selection, then you pull it this way, increasing the size of the type. Now the reason why what we are typing is moving downwards is that we are on the vertical type tool. So everything I type would have to be in a vertical form. Okay, good. Let's move on. We have the horizontal. Let's check out the horizontal. Yvonne, they are too small, so I'll press Control, hold it, and then bring my arrow here. It will form something like a spear. I'll place it at one end of the shape form, then I'll pull it. Yes, increasing it. Or when it is too small, you want to increase the size, you can just select the whole thing like this, like how you select in Word. Then I can decide to change the size here and the color there. Some of these things we will not be teaching you, okay? I will teach you these things up here, but some of these things, changing color, you can see it for yourself because they are similar to the ones you have in Paint and other things. Okay, Yvonne, nice. There are so many things you can do with the type tools, like editing the type. Yeah, there are so many things you can do with it. You have wrap text, and decide to choose arc or anything I want, and it will give me the exact design or shape I want. Now see. Okay, let's move to the other two. The path selection tool, I talked about it, where you have to select around the path. Okay, there are no paths selected here. That is why it is bringing me this. Okay, there are no paths here, so we'll move on fast and quick. These are the polygon tools, and we have a whole lot of them. The line tool, the ellipse tool, rounded rectangle tool, the rectangle tool, the custom shape tool, where we have shapes. You can choose lots of shapes. I come here, you can choose shapes, and these shapes can also be downloaded. You can download some. These are the default shapes on Photoshop. You can decide to bring this here. Yes, and then bring another shape there too. Okay, then we have this tool, that's the hand tool. When you have to grab something and move it, or grab something, the hand tool. And we have the rotate view tool. So there are whole lots of tools here. The zoom tool, so zoom in. You want to zoom out, you come here, then you zoom out. Okay, and mind you, we will be learning more shortcuts. Okay, and these ones are just, this is the switches. Now basically, when you open Photoshop, you see it to be black and white. It is very important to keep it that way. Very, very important. When you want to switch it up, I'll teach you the reason, or I'll tell you the reason why it is important. You can press X and it will change them for you. Now I want you to watch this part when I change. What happens? Now you have different set of pictures here, colors, sorry, and different shades of colors here. So this should tell you that the changes you make down there has an effect on the work you are working on. Okay, that is what most people don't know. Now let's come to this. This is the edit in quick mask mode. You can also access it somewhere else. And finally, we have the change screen mode. When I press it now, what happens? It fills the space or the whole screen. Okay, I have to exit. Sorry, this full screen. I have to exit it. And basically, these are the tools on Photoshop, and these are the basic things you need to know. Okay, as I said, you have to subscribe to this channel and learn more. This is our first lesson. Next, we'll be moving to these functions. We have the file. What does it mean? New, open, browsing, edit. What do we do here? Image, the adjustment, auto tone, auto contrast, auto color, image size, canvas, image rotation, and the rest. You come to layers, the duplicate, rasterize. Yes, very important. Rasterize, the type, the panels to use, and the rest. Select. You see the filter, where you can do whole lots of things here. Now the filter gallery, where you have so many options to work with. Okay, you can decide to work on the work by pressing here. You get so many options to choose. Okay, now we have the 3D. That's when you are working in 3D. Now we have view, so you can zoom in and zoom out here. Now these things here, these functions here, also give out, some of them also give out the shortcuts. You can learn from here too. Then we come to Windows, the arrange, and the rest. 3D actions. Okay guys, thank you very much. And on our next lessons, please get a notepad or a notebook. Jot down the most important things you need to learn. And also, finally, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Press the notification bell. Make sure that every video we drop, all the new videos dropped, you'll get an alert by hitting the notification bell. You get alert. Okay, and also questions can be directed to the number provided below, or questions can be commented down here whilst I try to answer them for you. Okay, I'll have a WhatsApp group. If you want to join, you can join. We will discuss more there. Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye bye.